Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Let's talk about it. 5 things we learned from Norwich City's decimation of Cardiff City yesterday. Um, it has not been a pleasant few months for Cardiff City fans, and there's a lot of frustration out there, and there's a lot of anger. And look, as I've said many times, I'm someone who felt this manager was the right guy, the right man for the job, the right man to take us forward and over a period of a couple of years. But it is becoming increasingly difficult to kind of defend some of his decision making, his refusal to learn from his own mistakes. We all make mistakes, but his refusal to learn is not adapting. His in-game situational kind of decisions are a bit worrying, and ultimately, the players don't seem, or certainly portions of the players do not seem like they're playing for the manager. Um, I got told something really disheartening last night, which I don't really want to put out there, especially because of the amount of grief I took last time. And the fact is, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But there's rumours that Psyopus is not happy because he feels like he's been made out to be a bit of a scapegoat by the manager and he's been dropped and stuff like that. Ultimately, like Psyopus is one I've discussed on numerous occasions. I felt like his form dipped because he was trying to do too much. He was trying to do two roles. He was trying to be the passer, the progressor, but also be the destroyer and a defensive midfielder. When he came in, he looked like probably the best defensive midfielder in the championship. But as things went on and he was trying to do a bit more, I think he lost that. And I was hoping, I think we all hoped when we signed Mark Turnbull that Turnbull was going to come in, play alongside him, and we'd see a better side of Cyprus. At the moment, I don't think they've played together. They certainly haven't started together, which is in itself remarkable, at least to me. But this is 5 things we've learned. I try to pick out positives. I try to. It is very difficult at the moment because it feels like we don't have a great deal of positives, but I will do my best. And look, like, number one, let's start with a positive, okay? Where we are now in the league table, where we are now compared to the last few years, we're in a better place. I think the squad is better on paper. On paper, it is better. We're not fighting relegation at the moment, but I had a discussion with Nigel yesterday on Facebook. Um, like, our form is so bad that if this form continued for the next 10 games, we would not reach 50 points to be guaranteed safety. Now, I think the one thing which will benefit us in terms of relegation, if this form was to continue, is that there's several teams who are worse than us, including the Jacks. Now, Sheffield Wednesday have picked up a bit of form. They've won a couple in the last couple of games. Queen's Park Rangers have won 2 of the last 5 and picked up a couple of draws as well. You got Ugbo, who scored, I think, 3 goals since he went to Sheffield Wednesday. Couldn't hit a barn door for Cardiff. But I did say at the start of the season with him, he looks like a man who's got a knack of being in the right place at the right time. He might not score you the worldies, the quality goals, but he's got something about just being in the right place at the right time. The problem is Cardiff City never ever get the ball in the box. We don't create anything. So strikers become almost obsolete. But the positive is we're 14th. We're relatively safe. We have lost 4 of the last 5. We are struggling to create anything resembling cohesive attack, cohesive play, unless it's sideways and backwards. That is a problem. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're 14th. We're better than last year, so that means everything's great, because it ain't. There's problems. Number 2, the manager isn't right. So I'm going to kind of lump all these in together. My thing with the manager is, as everyone knows who watches my stuff, watches me on Cardiff City World, has watched me on Ace Podcast Nation. I back the manager. I want the manager to stay. I think if he's backed and he's given players that he wants, I feel that he can be a guy who takes the club and the team forward if he can build his team. I don't think that some of the players he brought in January were players he wanted necessarily, or if they were kind of far down his list. But it is what it is. I think he was probably sold down a river in terms of what he thought he was going to get financially. So I've seen sort of 3 theories, floated about in terms of what's going wrong. Some people say the manager is sulking because he was lied to by the board. Some people say the players have down tools and they're not playing for the manager or the badge. And then third is like, oh, it's all on Tan and the board. So for me, I think it's probably somewhere in between all three. I do think there's an element of him sulking. And one of the things which I dislike, and I've said before as well, just because I want the manager to stay and just because I think that he showed enough at the start of the season that he could be the right man, doesn't mean he's devoid of criticism. He deserves criticism where it's deserved. And there's a few things which kind of worry me. One, the main one being, I see no accountability in his interviews of, I made a mistake, or I should have done this differently, or I should have done that wrong, or I got this wrong. It's very much the players as a group, individual players, but also he's called out the board and this, that, and the other. It's very rare. I don't think I can, off the top of my head, I can't remember him going, I got that wrong. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. And I think that's important. But maybe he does that behind closed doors also. I mentioned it in passing at the start of the show tonight. His in-game adaptations don't feel to me like he's reacting to the game and trying to change things tactically. It feels like his substitutions are pre-planned, and it feels like his rotation in the starting 11 is very... He just rotates for the sake of it. It feels like maybe there's a plan, but it doesn't seem like there's one. Like for everybody, I think pretty much 99% of Cardiff City fans thought when Turnbull came in, we're going to see Siopis, Turnbull with Colwell in front until Ramsey's fit, and then Ramsey comes back in probably. And you thought we might be a bit cohesive then and how we play, because Turnbull's a good passer, Siopis is a good passer, but Siopis can focus on being that defensive midfielder. We haven't seen it, and I don't know why. It's very, very frustrating because I can't see how anyone has watched the Preston game or the West Brom game and thought Ryan Winter's got to be on my starting 11. I think he's been poor, but like not to single players out, because I thought Jamario Collins has been not great, but I stuck up for him the other day because I felt like some of the abuse he was getting was ridiculous. Obviously, he pops up with a goal. Cardiff go into the lead. It goes wrong from there, and Norwich could have put about 9 on us. I've got to be honest. Like, I saw people blaming the keeper. Don't really think he could have done a great deal. Norwich are a good side. They got good players. Sargent was one of the players who I really kind of said, if we can't give him room around the box, he's a good finisher. He's strong, and they play a lot through him. And then it happened. They could have beaten us 9-1. And second of all, or number 3, should I say, Ramsey injured again. So, I know the manager said it's probably just going to be this week, and he's going to miss the Blackburn game, but it's frustrating. And I know, look, he's taken a massive wage cut, blah blah blah. He wants to be here. I understand all that, and I love him. I'll always. Aaron Ramsey's special to me, special to Cardiff fans, special to Welsh fans. He's a special footballer, special person, everything. I got nothing but good things to say about him. But we don't have a squad to have our best player out for the majority of the season. Now, we knew at the start of the season he wasn't going to play every game, which was the hope that Ruben Colwell could step up. I would argue that to a certain degree, Ruben Colwell has stepped up to a certain degree. I'm not saying he's been amazing because he hasn't got a load of assists and goals, but I think he's been pretty good. We do need to do something about the Ramsey situation in some form. I don't know what that solution is. He's not fit. He's not fit. So what can you do? Try and pick out some positives. Good to see Collins get his goal, number 4. So 4 will just be some positives. Okay. I thought Collins had a decent enough-ish game, got his goal. I was happy for him on a personal level. Good to see Joe Rolls back on the pitch. I don't think he's even when I look at that squad on paper, if everyone's fit, Joe Rolls is probably not in that starting lineup for me in most games. There may be certain games where you could say, yeah, I need him. but we're not at a level at the moment where we can go into a game and think, right, we need to control this a bit more. We're going to keep possession of the football a bit more. We need someone who can keep the ball, and we're just not there. We're not good enough to do that. We just pass sideways and backwards. I was happy to see Siopis back in the starting lineup. I thought he did all right, but I also thought he got overran, which is another reason why I want to see Turnbull and Siopis together, because Rawls, Ramsey, Wintle, they don't have the legs to help out, so Siopis often gets isolated. Cardiff City conceded 23 shots against Norwich on Saturday, 8 of which were on target. And when I say it could have been 5, 6, 7, like it really, really could have. Let's make no mistake, right? Norwich are a good football side. They're a good championship side. They're also in pretty good form. And it was always going to be a difficult game. I don't think many of us expected Cardiff to go there and win. But I think the nature of the performance is concerning, because we had that little winter break and everyone's thinking, right, we got some signings in. Let's have a pickup now. We're going to pick up, get a couple of wins, or pick up some points, battle, get what we can, and we'll be, it'll be all right. We'll win some, we'll lose some between now and the end of the season, and it'll be okay. And it's the performances as well as the results, of course. But at least if we were performing to a decent level and we were working hard and we were putting teams under pressure and it kind of just wasn't falling for us, and then we were getting beaten by a better side, that's fair enough. If the effort levels are there and you feel like you've competed, like I'm coming off watching Cardiff at the moment for the last 3-4 games since that winter break, and even the Watford game, I thought we were pretty lucky. Bit of a smash and grab. We're not creating anything. I don't really feel like we were never a danger. Even when we were 1-0 up, we were never a danger to Norwich, and that is a problem. Like, it's very worrying to me. And finally, on number 4, for another positive, I was pleased to see Colwell Jr., Ashford on the bench. Obviously, Turner was on the bench. I don't know what's happening with Olnwick. I've heard some stuff about Robinson. I don't know what's going on with that. The thing with Robinson is obviously he fell out with the manager at the start of the season. A few weeks ago, there was rumours that he wasn't happy again because Colwell had kind of moved ahead of him. He's on a lot of money, and to me, he should, like, and I know this sounds maybe a bit blunt and maybe people won't like it, but to me, like, you get paid a lot of money to play football, so shut up, train hard, keep your mouth shut, do what the manager tells you, and you should get in the starting lineup if you're up to it and you're required, and at the very least, you'd be on the bench. And that goes for not just aimed at him, that goes for every single player in that squad. Some of these players need to take some accountability. Just like them, I said the manager needs to take accountability. There's too many of these players who are almost giving up before they've started. And ultimately, for Cardiff City to do anything or just have a semi-decent run and not get dragged into a relegation worry this season, the players have got to step up and play for their wages, play for the badge. If you don't want to play for the badge and you haven't got pride in the Cardiff City badge, that's all right, fine. Play for your wages. You get paid a lot of money to play football. Every person's dream, pretty much. For us Cardiff fans, it's literally the dream to play for Cardiff City. So the least you can give us is 90 minutes of nothing but pure effort and run around a bit and show a bit of aggression. I'm not going to single out the same players, which I have. Everyone knows. I think there's a little group of players who've got bad attitude in the squad. It is what it is. The manager, number 5, and this is probably the most important one. The manager has to work out what his strongest team is and kind of stick with it for a little bit. The rotation and constant changing is causing confusion. It's causing issues, and players, they're almost stood around at certain points, especially after a couple of subs. Like, they're almost stood around. They don't know what their roles are. They don't know what their jobs are. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing, which is remarkable. They train, a couple of days. I know there's not much of a turnaround between games, but you look at other teams, you look at the Dangers, they'll be having tactical sessions in between games on their days off. When it's Saturday, Tuesday, they'll have Sunday off, and then Tuesday will be a bit of a tactical session, warm downs and stuff, and it won't be too hard training. But I just expect a bit more from them. I want to see a bit more aggression. but the manager's got to settle on what his 11 is. Obviously, NG's was injured on Saturday is a big blow. He's been our best player by probably a country mile this season. I think there was talk of him being back for Blackburn. If he's a bit sore or he's a bit struggling, I wouldn't rush him back because he's so important. But we obviously need the points also. It's interesting to me, you see, because what is the best starting 11? Should we stick with 4-2-3-1, which has been probably the most successful system for the team this year? Or should we look at a 3-5-2? Should we look at going to 4-2-2, 4-4-2, or 4-4-1? Like, I'm interested in what you guys think and what you guys are watching. What do you think Cardiff City's best 11 is when everybody's fit? Or would you kind of scrap that and would you bring in an Ashford? Would you bring in Joel Colwell and say we're pretty comfortable in terms of the relegation thing? There, we could get dragged. Like if our form is this bad for the next 10 games, we could get dragged in. It's unlikely, but we could. So I would like to know what people think, what system we should play. Drop it in the comments. What formation do you think Cardiff would be at their best? What is your starting 11 between now and the end of the season? If everyone's fit, who gets dropped, who stays? Because they can't all play. We made 5 subs on the weekend. Ollie Tanner finally got on the pitch. Hurrah! Interesting that he finally got on the pitch. I don't understand the Wintle thing. Like when Rawls went off, I thought, right, we're going to get Turnbull on. Rawls is tiring. Wintle comes in. It's confusing to me. I thought Wilson Esperand was relatively positive. He looks like he's got something about him. I worry a little bit about him if he was to play left back because he's so attacking. But I think he's probably been brought in as just a wide player generally. Reese in the comments says 4-2-3-1, but I would drop Bowler and Atete from the team completely. I'd play Tanner and Mate on the wing, Grant as the striker, Ruben Corwell as number 10, Siopis and Turnbull as a 2, and then NG, Gutas, Phillips, Esperand, and Alnwick. Yeah. I don't disagree with a lot of that, mate. I would like to see Grant through the middle. I don't think the manager's going to do it, unfortunately, which is a shame because I think Grant could be a key to getting Cardiff create a few more chances and getting a bit more attacking. If we had a pacey striker who runs in behind, I feel like that is something that we lack so drastically. We just create so little. But like a few times on Saturday, Jeju in the first half he held the ball up really well. Like what he doesn't look amazing by any things, but one thing he seems to be decent at is collecting the ball under pressure with defence on him. But the lack of movement off him, like Colwell's got a ball and everyone stood still or stood like too many players hiding. And when I say hiding, I mean standing in a passing lane that's blocked and not moving, and you can't get the ball. But even if you're not going to get the ball, you should still move to take a player with you to create space for someone else. Too many players static. Not enough movement off the ball. Yet again, the wingers cutting in, trying to be narrow, and we need width. We need to create things, and it's frustrating. I'm interested if anyone feels like they would do a different 11 to Reese. Team tactics are press high, press all over. Don't give them a minute on the ball. Press. Wingers stay fucking wide, and don't pass the ball across the box. Drill it. Yeah, mate. It's at the start of the season, out of possession, we were press. But you know what? I think I even said after it might have been the Swansea game, one of the most pleasing 2 things about the Swansea game was, number one, we absolutely outplayed them off the park with our passing. We were so comfortable in that game. But our passing had purpose. I feel like a broken record. We were playing out from the back, but we were playing progressing through the pitch. We were playing through the lines. Players were taking up little half spaces. They had overlaps and movement off the ball. And our wingers, as the season's gone on, have come narrower and narrower and narrower. And sometimes Bowler, he stood fucking 5 yards away from Colwell. And it's like, what? If Colwell gets the ball now, where's he going to go? Bowler's in his way, so he can't go that side. And if he goes the other way, there's no one making a run. It's like, and then everyone groans because he tries to beat a man. But it's like, what's he supposed to do? It's very frustrating for me. For anyone who gives a shit. My 11 for at least the next 2 games. I would stick with Halworth now. He's been in for a couple of games. I don't think he was to blame for anything on the weekend. I don't know what's going on with Alnwick. I think Alnwick has probably got a knock or something, but I don't know. So I'd go with Halworth. Obviously, NG comes in if he's fit. Gutas is concerning me still, but McGuinness is out. So we're going NG, Gutas, Phillips. I would still go with Wilson Esperant. We're so lacking in the attacking areas and creative areas. Having a really attacking fullback might just be the key that unlocks it a little bit. Because NG doesn't seem to bomb on like he did at the start of the season with the overlap. And he's a really good passer of the ball. So actually, if Wilson Esperand was overlapping and getting forward and being a really attacking fullback, and then NG was kind of tucking in to be that third midfielder with the two, could work quite well. So that would be my 4 for the next 2 games. And then wide, I'm going Tanner on one side. Give him a chance because he can't be any worse than what we've been doing recently. And he, up until Saturday where he got 10 minutes, he just doesn't seem to have got a look in recently. And I think I don't know why that is. Obviously, if there's some sort of issue. But Reese just said there in the comments, Bowler's so easy to defend. Doesn't put a lot of work in. I think his attitude rubs some of his teammates up the wrong way as well. So I would go Tanner on one side. If Ramsey was fit, I'd play Ramsey at 10 and I'd put Colwell on the left because Colwell will work back when Wilson Esperand is out, like gets forward if play breaks down. But also I think Colwell's quite creative and having a big, like speedy fullback overlapping him could work quite well. And the other reason is when I look at the other options, I think Colwell's attitude to playing for Cardiff City is far better than most of the other wide options. So I would go Colwell on the left, and I would go, who did I say? Tanner on the right, and then I'd go with Grant through the middle. If Ramsey's injured, I'd go in Colwell 10, and then I'd probably go with I'm not a massive fan of. I know people, a couple of the lads, regulars, watchers, they like Mate. I'm not a massive fan of Mate as a wide player. He hasn't really impressed me. I think he's done more up front. So I would, if I was going to play Bowler, even though I don't like his attitude, the only way he gets in my side is he gets in on the left, and he plays, and you tell him, beat your man, be direct, stay fucking wide, beat your man, and put the ball in the box. Don't cut inside. You're a winger. You're there to create, not to try and score at every opportunity. I'm fed up of these wingers just running into trouble. Stay wide, go on the outside, put the ball in the box. The only time I want to see you cut in is cutting in a few yards to create a space for your fullback to overlap you to put the ball in the box. Absolutely sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of the attitude. Sick and tired of hearing there's dissension in the squad, and even the managers, even his guys are frustrated. Look, maybe what this team needs is a team meeting where they all air out how they're feeling and clear the air a little bit, because there seems to be so much frustration. I can't believe that Cardiff City have gone from that early season form, sincerely now, at the start of the season, expectations changed from staying up to could we get in the playoffs because of not just the results, but because of how well Cardiff City were playing against some real good sides. You know, I'm just going back and looking at some of those results early season. And let's be honest, those results are what's kept us relatively safe from relegation. And, I look back at that Swansea game, even the Ipswich game, which we lost 3-2. We were excellent in that game. I stand by Ipswich, and still the best team in the league I've seen play. I think they're excellent. A great coach. And then the final thing, like I've done my 5 things, obviously, but like the final thing, just to wrap up tonight's broadcast, is there's a lot of people who've kind of had enough, think the manager should go and stuff like this. And I, unfortunately, I think he's most likely to go at the end of the season. I cannot see a way how he I can't see a way how he stays at Cardiff City next year, unless the board promises him money to spend and kind of they come through with it and they back him in the summer and he can get his squad in. But most importantly, I don't think it's just about getting players in. He needs to get players out. That's almost as important as getting some players in of certain quality. Like our squad isn't good enough, is what it comes down to. But attitude goes a long way. Attitude goes a massive long way. If your quality is not quite there, or you're not quite as good a team as the teams around you or in the teams that you come up against, attitude and work rate can make a massive difference. You look at Luton tonight playing against United. United had so many chances in the second half. They could have been 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But like Luton just kept coming and coming and coming. They played some good football. Like that's what I want to see from Cardiff. We'll all we all accept that you can't win every game, especially when you're in the situation we're in. But if the effort is there and the work rate is there, and we just keep going and keep going and keep coming, and we fight for every single ball, every throw in, every contest, every decision. If that passion is there, fans will accept losses because the performance is there, the attitude is there. I can't see how the manager stays as it stands unless he goes on like a mad run now. And I mean, look, I said the other day, if we got 2 home games now, if he can turn around the home form and the home performances, more importantly, I think that will be the key to him staying. If he could go on like a little unbeaten run at home, but just make the home performances a bit more attacking and a bit more aggressive, passion, then I think that's the only way that I can foresee him staying. And that's not me saying I want him to go or I'd pull it out. I'm just saying I can't see how he stays as it stands. But I've also heard that he's got a clause in his contract that if he doesn't see out the season, he gets a huge payoff, which means it's probably unlikely that he's going to get sacked regardless. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm almost dumbfounded by the turn to go from where we were early season to watching the team now. It really is like night and day. It's shocking. Like when you really think about it, like I single out that Swansea game because it's such a big game for us. We'd had such poor form in it recently. To play the way we did in that game, and not just that game, but like around the performances at the start of the season, to play that well, and then end up where we like putting in the not so much the results. The results is the championship. You can lose to anyone, but it's the performances which is most upsetting and most frustrating. To go from that to this is remarkable, and not in a good way. We are really, 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 really. The players look lost. And that's why I say about maybe they need a meeting as a group to clear the air. Because they look so frustrated, some of them. And, maybe a few of them need a few home truths. Maybe the manager needs to let them have their say and stuff like that. I don't know what. Different managers have different ways of working. And sometimes there's a senior group within a squad which will be able to speak to the coaching staff or the assistant manager or the manager. And that's how they kind of go back and forth. But I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's very worrying. Cardiff City play Blackburn on Tuesday, so we'll have a preview up tomorrow night. The Cardiff City phone in tomorrow night. Don't forget 6 p.m. Make sure you check that out. Have your say. The boys will be talking. I'm sure they'll have some fantastic guests as also. And please do check out these pennants, which you'll see flashing across the board now. They are luxury Cardiff City pennants for sale in aid of the Cardiff City Football Club Disabled Supporters Association, and they're individually packaged, high quality items. They're available via the Cardiff City Disability Supporters Association on Twitter, or you can email them at the email below. But you can also message Martin Davis via the Premier Bluebirds Facebook page. Let's have a look at some of the comments. If you've got any questions, I'll do this. I don't normally do it on this particular show. Got any questions? You've got 2 minutes to get them in, and I'll answer some questions. Let's have a look. Sloper Road Blue says he needs to change something big time, or he just needs to walk. Interesting. Matthew says 2 massive games coming up against 2 teams who are below us. Vital we get points out of both games, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bulut gets the bullet if we lose. Louise says no passion in the team. The team just don't want to play for him. A win at Watford and we think we're superstars. Lose momentum and lose again. There you are. Louise says, what do you think of these media interviews as well? I assume you're referring to the interviews which Bulut does. In some ways, I certainly when we were in form, I quite liked his honesty and his brutality. As I mentioned earlier, I never hear him say, I made a mistake, or I got this wrong, or I got that wrong. And I think whilst it's all good and well calling out the board, you absolutely deserve to be called out. Calling out underperforming team, yeah, fine. Singling out individuals now and again, I haven't got a problem with that particularly either. But also he's in charge of sending that team out. He's in charge of picking a team. He's in charge of the tactics. He's in charge of the training. He's in charge of motivating those players. And they don't look very motivated at the moment, so that's down to him. It is what it is. Louise also said, I'd love to be a guest on the show. So, yeah, you can... obviously, you've got a variety of shows on the Cardiff City World channel. It's a fan channel, Louise, so you're more than welcome to get involved in some way. Maybe you go on the phone in, or you can come on one of the post-game shows that the boys do. Not sure what day it'll be on this week, because last week they did it on Wednesday because the game was on Tuesday, so I'd assume that it'll be on there. Matthew just said is in the comments, he said get in with me and Rob. So if you want to join the boys on Wednesday, they'll be talking about the Blackburn game, more than welcome. Send Matt or myself a DM on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, any of them really, or my emails in my YouTube thing. Send us an email, we'll sort it out, and you can join the boys by any means. It's a fan channel, and we want as many fans, as many views, want more and more people getting involved. I got to move this because I keep popping it. You just can't not. Terry Phillips is bringing a new historical content series to the channel as well. We are rolling, baby, and we're going to keep going. So just give you a quick rundown of the schedule on the channel this week. Obviously, we had 5 things tonight. Then Monday night, Cardiff City phone in, and then about an hour after that, about 8 o'clock, it'll be the Cardiff City versus Blackburn preview. Tuesday will be episode 3 of Super Kev Unscripted, which was made by acepodcastnation previously. We're just re-showing them. Such a great show with Kevin McNaughton. Just a lot of fun. Yeah, Cardiff City World. And so Kev McNaughton Unscripted Tuesday. Wednesday will be the Flower Hour with Matt and Rob, and looks like Louise as well. That's basically the reaction to the Blackburn game. Then Thursday will be the Cardiff City World podcast with myself, and I might have a special guest as well this week. And then Friday is an interesting one because we've run out of Michael Chopper clips, Michael Chopper shows now. So what could we have planned? What could we drop on Friday? I got some things in my back pocket, but we'll see. We'll see. If you'd like to contribute to the channel, send us an email or get in touch with me or one of the boys, and they'll point you my way, and we'll sort it out. We want more and more people. If you go to the game on Saturday or Tuesday, we want videos, whether it's predictions, it's your opinion midway through the game or halftime or after the game, predictions, whatever, vlogs, loads of it, like anything you want, send it over, email it, and we're just going to keep on rolling, keep on building. Cardiff City World, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen it already, watch or download Kev McNaughton's podcast. Is so funny, and they just get better and better all the way through. It's only episode 3. The previous 2 episodes are up on the channel as well. It's a lot of fun. Not a lot of football talk, but it's a lot of fun. It's really funny, and as I say, they go on, they get funnier. What else are we gonna do? Man, I think I might gonna drop the show. Obviously, the last Kevin McNaughton show. When they kind of get to it, it was me, Kevin, and Jay Bothroyd. That was one of my favourite shows I've ever recorded. That was a real good one. Jay's a good value, man. He's a good guy. I think that's about everything. I am speaking to Cardiff City fan and author of the new book, Magnetic, which you can see there. There's my signed copy. Tony Rivers tomorrow night. I'll be filming a podcast with him. I'm sure there'll be some Cardiff City contact on there as well. Yeah, voice notes, audio, videos. If you film it on your phone, portrait or vertical, doesn't really matter. Just want as much stuff as possible so we can put it on the channel. Like I said, it's a fan channel, and that's what it's about. Appreciate you all, guys. Appreciate the comments and everything. Keep spreading the word about Cardiff City World. Obviously, it's only a week and a half old, so we're still building. It's Cardiff City content, 7 days a week, by the fans, for the fans. Get involved, send us an email, all that good stuff. You can download every single bit of content that we do, except there's one thing which we don't. The vlogs we don't do on the audio side. But if you search Cardiff City World on the Sports Social or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Cardiff City World, and there's everything's on there to download if you prefer to listen to your podcasts. We do a lot of live shows. There's going to be more recorded shows, and of course we've got the Terry Phillips series coming as well, which is a historical series. So he's going to be looking at some different things, and I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be real good. I'm interested to see what Terry comes up with. Obviously, Terry is the club historian now, so it's all good. And if you're not already, you should become a member of Ace Podcast Nation. Ace Podcast Nation is what makes Cardiff City World possible. If there was no Ace Podcast Nation, I would not have made Cardiff City World, and we wouldn't be having 7 days of Cardiff City content a week, which is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. If you'd like to become a member of Ace Podcast Nation, which is literally what keeps the lights on for everything, and you have exclusive content, you have rewards, but you also, most importantly, or most beneficially to the members, you get early access to tickets for the live events. Our next live event is Cardiff City Legends event, which is in Pontypridd on the 10th of May with ex-Cardiff City cult hero midfielder Danny Batten, I was going to say then, Willie Boland. Is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Cannot wait. If you want to become a member, cost you the price of a coffee, but as I say, it keeps Ace Podcast Nation going, funds Cardiff City World. Price of coffee per month, and you get weekly exclusive shows just for members. Also, you get tickets, 24 hours early access. You also get other rewards, behind the scenes footage, stuff like that. So it's all good. Appreciate you all. Links to everything is in the description for the video. If you're not sure, give me a shout. Ace Podcast Nation, patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation is for members. Like I said, it's like 2-3 quid, so it's not much for you lot, but it keeps the lights on for everything. Big up yourself. Have a great evening. Come on, the Bluebirds. Nice one.